Welcome back, and this is still Cosmopolitan Market on the Nigeria Customs Broadcasting Network. And at the beginning of the program, I did mention that today we shall be discussing issues around economic development, especially on the side of the youth of Nigeria. And joining me to discuss this is Mohammed Ahmed Marafa. He is the Secretary General of the West Africa Youth Congress. Welcome, and thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you, my sister.
Thank you again. And Nigerian youth are said to be the largest demography in Nigeria, especially when it comes to the Nigerian population. How important would you say youth are, especially with regards to economic development and nation building? How important are the youth?
Yeah, actually, if you look at Nigeria as a whole, you realize that whatever you do or whatever you achieve, youth has to be part of the process. And for Nigeria to achieve anything that has to do economically, anything, not even from the economic perspective, youth has to be at the forefront. And looking at our situation now in Nigeria, that we are battling with the issue of COVID insecurity and many challenges. So you realize that so many activities that has to do or may achieve in this country must involve youth, and that's why I think for we to achieve anything for now in Nigeria, we have to be involved. The youth has to be fully involved before we can achieve anything for now in building the country.
Okay, I like the fact that you have mentioned that youth have to be at the forefront, especially when it comes to nation building. But have we as a country, Nigeria, recognized the fact that youths are an asset rather than what should be used, especially to get for their own selfish gains? For example, during elections, you find how much Nigerian youth are mobilized to partake in the elections, and after the elections where all youth are set to be dumped. How important are youth, and have Nigerians come to realize how that Nigerian youth are assets rather than liabilities?
Yeah, I will answer this question in two aspects. Looking at the issue of election that you just talked about, I'm looking from our own perspective, to our mistake, while secondly I'm looking at our leaders' mistake. First of all, we gave them the chances to just use us and dump us. If today, before we will go for this, you are talking about the election, we can sit with them and agree on some basics and agree on some quotas of what we can gain after the election. Then I believe we can achieve our target, and we will not be used and dumb. And looking at what is happening now in the country, to me, we have gained from some of the aspect of the governance, and we have lost a lot. Because if you look at how now the governance is, if you look at how the system is moving, you realize that we give the chances of being used and done. Before the election, we will prefer to just get a token of 200, 1,000 naira before the election without entering any agreement with our leaders. Then after the election, we will be at the forefront of complaining. But to me, if we can come with these people, sit on a table, discuss with them, dialogue, and talk of what to gain, how to gain, it's better for us to just come and allow ourselves to be always being used and dumb. That's what I think is.
Okay, and still on economic development, which is the focus of today's program, how much inspiration would you say that the Nigerian youth can draw from the business environment in Nigeria, especially talking about the policies that we're seeing from government? Would you say the policies have been favorable so far, especially with regards to the business environment in Nigeria?
Yeah, some of the policies of the government are not favorable, while some are favorable. If you look at some of the programs that now the government are pushing, they are pushing it to favor the youths. but the youth, like many of us, are not ready to partake in such a program and achieve the target of what the government are trying to do. Let's take an example of NIRSAL. Federal government have put a lot of resources there to see that many of our youth partake and utilize that resources. But come to think of a youth getting such amount of resources, and he will just go and use it, either buy phone or use it for something else, while their own intuition is to bring these resources on table, we should get it and go and utilize it, or either boost our economy or the business that we are running, or either use it to partake in any one or two of ideas that we are having in our mind, to make sure we utilize the resources in boosting the business. But now, come to think of, like what I said before, you will come and see our youth will go and secure the resources, and the next thing that you will see is either to go and buy phone, buy something that will not be useful to either in boosting the economy, or either utilizing it to partake in any entrepreneurship business. So I think to me, the government are doing their possible best to see that they make sure we the youth are involved, but from another side, we the youth are not doing it, are not going to the right direction and making sure that we get involved in the boosting of the economy, or either partaking in moving the economy forward.
Okay, then in what ways can we mobilize Nigerian youth, or beyond Nigerian and West African youth? Because I understand that the West African Youth Congress is not just operational in Nigeria, it goes all through West Africa, I believe. So how then can we have more youth involved in issues around nation building and economic development as well? How can we have more youth involved?
Yeah, first thing we need to do is to come on table and have a dialogue with both the leaders and the youth, to discuss on how to come together and see what we can do, how we can do in building the nation. Now we are battling with the issue of not only economy, insecurity, and a lot of challenges in West Africa. So for we to achieve this, we have to come on table, but not only allowing the leaders to be bringing out policies and programs on how to move the economy, but when we come on table, both the youth and the leaders, we can come out with a blueprint or action plan that can favor both the government and both that's why you will see always either the youth and the government, one side will be crying the youth are not doing good, or either the youth are crying that the government are not favoring them in aspect of moving the activities of the governance. So wherever we come, sit on a table, discuss, have a dialogue on what and how to do, then I definitely believe we are going to achieve much in building the nation.
Okay, I am quite aware that that is the West African Youth Congress, is pushing for a dialogue between the government and the youthful population. How has that been so far? Has there been any progress so far? And if eventually there is like a forum where the youth and the government can sit and talk, what should be put on the table? What proposal should be put on the table?
Yes, there are a lot of progress. Number one, we have so somebody like me, I have sat with the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. I gave him a little brief of what we have did. Secretary to the Government of the Federation of Nigeria, I gave him a little brief of what we have did. We visited some of the embassies of West Africa. We discussed with them of what and how we are going to do to have the dialogue and the summit. And our target here is we are going to look at our economy, governance, insecurity, and we are going to look at the IT world, because if you look at what is happening now in the world, we are talking about IT. And the major issue that is distracting the West African region is the insecurity. And we believe that if the government can sit with us and talk, we will come out with a good solution that will is how we can build our region. And the issue of insecurity can only be resolved if the youth are given the opportunity to sit with the government and discuss, and it still can only be resolved if our economy, if building our economy will give a room still for our youth to partake. Whereby governments, especially the ECOWAS, will just go and sit and bring out policies that has no this thing to the youth, then we are going to be facing a lot of challenges and insecurity. So that's why we want to have this dialogue with them, and that's why there's some few progress that we have made in planning on how to host this summit.
Okay, just before we go, for young people to be gainfully employed, or for young people to shun violence and other societal ills, then they should be gainfully employed. How can a young people move past the high levels of unemployment that we are seeing, and put the energy that they have to good use, especially at the time? I'm glad you made mention of IT. How can the young people make use of IT towards gainfully employing themselves, towards building the Nigerian economy?
Yeah, there are a lot of ways that we can use IT to boost our economy. Under IT, we are having a lot of segment like e-business. It's good for our youth to develop their idea through going to learn e-businesses, because if you look at our scenario, many of our youth are just thinking of going to IT is just about computer, just learning how to type computer and watch film and other things. But IT is beyond all these things. And secondly, on unemployment, always I didn't believe that yes, we are facing a lot of challenges. I didn't believe unemployment is our major problem. I believe when we can sit and develop a good working plan that will move our economy, it will ease a lot of ways on how we can employ ourselves. Because if you look at a lot of major countries that have gone far in the world, they didn't rely on employing their youth. They rely on giving their youth chances and grant loans and grants that will help those youth to build their economy. So I believe the youth should agitate for having a good economy, and the youth should agitate for having a soft loan and grant that will help them to boost their ideas and what they have on their decks.
Okay, just before we go, the West African Youth Congress is set to hold its summit in the month of August. Can you tell us more about what the summit aims to achieve?
Yeah, what we are targeting of achieving is to bring a lasting solution to how the youth can be involved in governance, insecurity, and economic challenges. And like I said, with now Nigeria, the world is moving on IT and how we can utilize the use of IT. And secondly, under these 5 or 4 categories, we classify so many things that we will run in the summit. Number 1, we are going to have different classes of discussion that will involve so many world leaders and youth leaders from the world. And secondly, we are going to have mentorship classes, and we are going to have side activities that will involve tour and other things. So there are a lot of things that we will achieve in that summit, and at the end we are trying to make a Nigerian declaration whereby we want to have an action this thing that will be submitted to ECOWAS and all the government officials of all the 16 countries of West Africa, that will be utilized in running the activities or get youth involved in all the activities of their governance.
Thank you. I have been speaking with Mohammed Ahmed Marafa. He is the Secretary General of the West African Youth Congress, and we have been speaking to issues around youth development and national economic development. And this is the point where we wrap up today's edition of the program Cosmopolitan Market, which is, of course, coming to you on the Nigeria Customs Broadcasting Network. And do join us again, same time, same station tomorrow, as we promise to be here as always to keep you updated on happenings in the worlds of business, commerce, finance, not forgetting the economy. I am Chiamaka Nendu. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.